Welcome, everyone. Really glad to be with you today. I'm partnered here on this podcast with a buddy of mine, Dan Catinella from Total Expert. Dan needs very little integration or introduction here onto this podcast, but Dan and I have done a number of these talks together, and we always manage to have some fun, right, Dan?
Absolutely, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, so we've got a pretty exciting topic today. We wanted to get into a little bit of the landscape going on out there in the mortgage industry, and maybe broaden it a little bit too, and talk about all of housing and how what all of housing is going through right now. And it's a lot of hot topics out there, and some Rocket Redfin, some Zillow, some Compass Zillow again, right? So lots of stuff going on out there, but really want to dig into it and talk about what the landscape is going on, what some really cool things that Total Expert has done out there on this front, what we're doing at Evocalize, and how we might be able to get through it. So I'm Matthew Marx. I'm the founder and CEO of Evocalize, and joined by Dan Catinella. Dan, your title is Chief Lending Officer. Yeah,
So I'm the
do it all, man.
general manager over here, Total Expert. It'll be 3 years in August. It's hard to believe, but yeah, spent my last 23 years in the lending landscape, always kind of walking the gray line between technology, sales, and marketing. So happy to be here with you and partner with our great friends at Evocalize.
Yeah, man, it's great. Really have fun again doing these things with you. So let's laugh a little bit in this thing. Um, so so as we start to think about the topic, it's maybe not such a laughing matter what's going on in the in the industry right now. How do you think about, obviously there are a lot of topics out there as I previewed, but we've been thinking a lot about, and the industry's been talking a lot about the consolidation that's happening, and how some of the real estate and mortgage sides of this equation are starting to come together really for the first time. And you've been doing this a long time. You've been in lending much longer than I have. Can you give us a landscape of like kind of what's happening, why now? And happy to chime in, but would love to get your thoughts given how long you've been doing this.
Yeah, so obviously we've seen some pretty massive consolidation. You got Redfin, Mr. Cooper, and Rocket coming together, and they're now going to own, one in every six mortgages on the servicing side. Bayview and Guild, which also two massive servicers coming together. Movoto and Lower as well. Don't put anything past them. Really combining a lot of the real estate arm and those real estate portals with Lower's fantastic origination engine. But I think the theme really is how do you really own the funnel, the top of the funnel? How do you make sure this has been this nebulous thing of customer for life? How do you really maximize the lifetime value of every customer you acquire? So it's not just about transacting with that customer once, but how do you get the third, fourth, fifth opportunities to serve every customer? But we're really seeing a transition where people really want to own the top of the funnel as well. So how do you really get to the consumers as far up funnel as possible? Not necessarily less reliance on a real estate agent to refer you business, but just owning that funnel and that ecosystem from the very early stages of that home buyer shopping process.
Yeah, it makes sense, I guess, in a world, Dan, where Movoto, Ojo Labs, right? Partners with the Lower. You can imagine, despite signaling to the contrary, right? You can imagine the funnel starting to shift to that pipeline going down that direction. Same thing maybe with Redfin to Rocket, which we've already kind of seen some of the, sounds like breadcrumbs to that effect, right?
Absolutely. It's exciting times, and it's making a lot of especially the IMBs out there that, are all about, their entire business models about mortgage, really rethink how they, meet the customer as early up in the funnel. How do you get consumer insights higher up in the funnel to get to those consumers first, even before they may, think about shopping on one of those, real estate agent portals?
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Like, I think that's We've done quite a bit of research. Of course, we at Evocalize started in residential real estate and still have the majority of our business is servicing brokerages with lead generation technology in the real estate space. And you think about where what we talk about a lot in that industry is like, how do you go get the customer to begin with, right? And we built our technology with the portals, with the Redfins and Realtor.coms and all these to go, where do they get their customers from? And the reality is when they nurture their customers, they go to the 30 plus billion monthly visits that come to Meta, Google, and TikTok, right? Like, and that's not even, that's not counting all the other places and all the websites and other places that people are spending time. But a lot of people think that, the real estate portals get their traffic organically. And so and the same thing with the lending portals. And then they're uniquely positioned to get them. They're really kind of badass marketing machines, aren't they? Like, isn't that kind of their,
Absolutely.
their DNA?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how they rank in search engine optimization, and I mean, they're number one on all that, and they obviously get a lot of attention, and their experiences are just fantastic, right? I mean,
Yeah, oh yeah.
multi-million dollars building out those experiences, those consumer grade experiences, native mobile apps, to really incubate those consumers. But we're seeing lenders really start to think about, and reprioritize, even whether you're servicing and have a massive servicing book or you don't. How do I retain that customer? How do I make sure I'm getting in front of that customer at every opportunity there is? Not necessarily saying that you're going to avoid them going to Zillow or going to Redfin, those fantastic experiences. But if you could stay in front of your customer at all those times, you're going to have a much different likelihood to retain that customer when they are looking for their next purchase transaction.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And y'all have some pretty awesome technology. I think you call it customer intelligence that looks at some of these life signals for your existing contacts and uses them to get marketing in front of customers when existing known customers when kind of timing is right for them, right? So I think to me, for these servicers and for your book of business and for the leads and contacts you already have, you obviously have to be focused and maximizing the opportunity there first and foremost, don't you?
Absolutely. It's, we look at it as it's a data arms race out there.
Mhm.
The lenders with the most data on their consumers and the most insights, we do believe are going to win long term. So, everybody wants to understand that a consumer at a super deep level, not 3 years ago when you did the last transaction, but what does Matt look like today? What is your equity position in your current home? What does your debt profile look like? Did you get your credit pulled by another lender? The more insights I have on a consumer, the more opportunities I have to deliver the right message, the right outreach, the right email, the right SMS, have AI help originators get in front of those and follow up consistently. All those things are just critically important this day, but using data as the foundation to drive that.
Yeah, and you mentioned AI. It's interesting. We won't maybe beat that horse too badly in this call, but I think you guys, didn't you, Dan? Didn't you just like you guys just introduced something pretty cool around AI calling, didn't you?
Yeah, we did at Housing Wire. We announced our
Yeah.
AI sales assistant, and it's really around AI voice, human like AI voice capabilities that can help originators and kind of give them superpowers. Where most originators are so focused on their purchase business and nurturing their real estate agents, but they leave a lot of opportunities fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And what the AI sales assistants, one of the goals is as we're surfacing these opportunities from their database, the AI sales assistant can actually do automatic outreach and continuous follow up. Most originators, the best originators I talk to, still only follow up with leads and new opportunities like 3 or 4 times. Like, think about this thing's like the Terminator, and we'll follow up 15, 20 times with an opportunity to make sure that every customer is outreached, has a conversation, warm up the opportunity, validate the opportunity, and then really hand that back off to the licensed originator to really convert that into an application and a transaction.
Yeah, it feels to me like a big answer for scale, right? For enablement, because you and I both
Absolutely.
know, right? You can generate leads all day long. You can generate great leads. You can have a lot of contacts in your database that are, ready to go. If you don't have the time to work them, you don't have a dedicated team of call center folks calling them and working them, it becomes a disjointed experience, and you just don't do what these real estate portals and lending portals are doing, which is working the heck out of these leads to get them to come across the line, right? But again, you mentioned Movoto and Ojo Labs. If you're not familiar with Ojo, those two merged several years ago, and that's what they were all about. It's like, how do we nurture these leads that we're getting in? And so I guess, without that piece, it becomes, you can waste a lot of cycles and money.
The nurturing is so, I think, undervalued in our business, and especially in distributed retail. I think, most distributed retail originators, the top tier even, will openly admit that they're so used to getting fed referrals from their referral partners, from their real estate agents primarily, and they convert at a very high rate. But when it comes to long-term nurturing, you've really got to have the right technology and systems in place to really do it effectively. Especially, I mean, some of these nurturing cycles can last, 6 to 12 months these days. No
At least.
human can really do
Yeah.
that, to your point, at scale.
Yeah.
So how do you use all the technology, the automation, the AI capabilities to really, nurture every customer and every opportunity from your database? Or if you're buying leads, that's a whole other scale factor for sure.
Totally. Totally. Awesome. So you've mentioned a couple times referrals and relationships with real estate agents. So one of the things that, as we think about getting back to kind of the top of funnel, so we talk about the leads that you have. You guys are doing an awesome job of automating the way that we engage with them and nurture them, identify who to talk to when from your existing pool. As we think about building the new pool, and we think a lot about the portals, and again, creating captive lead funnel processes in from a Redfin to a Rocket and down on the chain, right? If you're a loan officer and you're not part of that captive ecosystem, we think we worry for the market a little bit about those drying up. And so we talked a little bit about acquiring in the portal channels where the portals are acquiring leads from Meta and Google and the other places online people are spending time. But you just talked about real estate agents. And referrals a lot, several times in the course of the 5 minutes, or 10 minutes we've been speaking. And so can you talk about what are the things? I know Total Expert has some pretty long-standing, well-honed solutions around this collaboration, I would call it, between the local practitioners, your partners in the local market. Can you tell me a little bit about how that fits into the puzzle here and how that works?
Yeah, sure, for sure. I mean, co-marketing is still a key component into driving purchase business. I mean, real estate agents are still the number one referral source for purchase business. I think when I started in this business 23 years ago, I think I was told then that real estate agents may be gone in the next couple of years.
Everyone forecasts that every few years,
Yeah,
right?
every couple of years.
Yeah.
But the reality is real estate agents still drive the vast majority of purchase business, even with all the digital technology that we have out there today. But co-marketing is such a key component for lenders to lean into, to really support their real estate agent partners, generate, assets, whether that's, print and social content, whether that's, things like bringing flyers to open houses to support and market that listing for their real estate agents, or even a digital artifact, whether that's trying to capture home buyers as they're walking into some of their new listings and making sure that you're incubating and nurturing those relationships. I mean, you got open houses right now are a huge opportunity for originators, and I still talk to way too many that aren't leveraging that. But there is a physical presence there. You got a whole bunch of potential home buyers that are walking into open houses. Obviously, they're in the market. And there's still real estate agents out there that are still, taking names on paper. But we help them, our technology can help them digitize that, bring that into the CRM automatically, and then automatically nurture those potential home buyers and share those contacts with the real estate agents so that everybody has visibility to those potential mutual prospects. But it's also a great way to open new doors for new real estate agents to do business with you, where maybe their current lender isn't providing them some of these tools. So let me build some collateral on a new listing that I just saw you have, and put that in front of a potential real estate agent and say, hey, this is some of the things I'm doing for my partners. Let me show you how I can support your business as well. So there's a whole plethora of kind of co-marketing capabilities our platform enables lenders to really leverage and lean into to, grow market share and wallet share of existing real estate agent relationships. How do I get more business out of every real estate agent that I have a relationship with? And then how can I go use this to attract new real estate agents to get, widening my net and add more referral partners to my network?
Yeah. Dan, it strikes me. So we obviously you have had a longstanding co-marketing, as you just described, functionality in there for this collaboration that we've talked about. That's so critical for the industry. But with the industry consolidation, like one of the things that we've recently announced our co-marketing network, which allows a digital collaboration for lead generation and advertising in a RESPA compliant way with real estate agents and loan officers, right? And we're building out more and more capabilities for discovery there, so we can match make. We have hundreds of thousands of realtors that use our system already, and tens of thousands of loan officers, and so we're bringing those two together. And I wonder, and by the way, just before I hit this self-serving comment, like one of the cool things about our relationship and our partnership is when those leads get generated, they can automatically get sent into the Total Expert ecosystem through our pre-built integration and build these audiences, trigger customer intelligence, trigger journeys, trigger nurturing, trigger AI calling. So all that can just be seamless and turnkey for the loan officers out there. But I think again about the partnership that exists in the real world that we're helping facilitate and move into the digital world, Dan. And I wonder if with the industry consolidation, if like one of the things I've heard from loan officers, I was at Guild Mortgages conference a couple of weeks ago, talking with 300 of the top loan officers out there. And one of the things that I heard over and over again is, hey, Matt, this isn't just important because it's a 50-50 cost split, or because, it's a cost split of some kind, and because it's compliant, because it's easy. This presents a unified picture to my neighborhood and makes this look turnkey.
Yeah.
Just like a Redfin and a Rocket may present itself to a local neighborhood. But now I can pair up with my business partner in each neighborhood around the town, around the city, around the state, and really look like a team that make it easy. And I wonder, like, if it's just the kind of the first time I've really heard that, talked about it. I wonder, you guys have been doing this for a long time. I wonder if that's part of the feedback you hear too.
Absolutely. I mean, the especially for first time home buyers, the home buying process is just complex and filled with just friction points all over the place. And there's a lot of parties involved. But if you can, any way you can combine real estate and mortgage together into a single experience, especially for first-time homebuyers that are unfamiliar with the process and who does what in that process between your real estate agent and your loan officer, it just cuts down on that friction. So I think it's a great thing, especially we know where first-time home buyers, especially the younger generations, are existing in social channels, and that's where they like to get educated and see that content. So I think our partnership has never been more relevant than it is these days.
It's kind of interesting, Dan. You think about first-time home buyers and getting people into the market. Obviously, we've had an affordability challenge. Hopefully that isn't as. Hopefully rates starts to drop. But even in the current environment, we're seeing it on the real estate side. We're seeing listings start to unlock a little bit and inventory rise a little bit. And it's bumpy. It's going to be bumpy, but we're seeing that start to happen. So it feels like, and talking with some of my friends, CEOs at different brokerages and some of our partners, it sounds like we all kind of hesitate to say it and like knock on this fake wood, but like they're starting to feel like there's a little bit of an unlock coming out of the woodwork, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, inventories I don't know that I want to say is back to normal, but much better than we've seen in, since the pandemic, or pretty close to pre-pandemic levels. And we are seeing, prices normalize. I'm not sure, outside of Florida and Texas, we're seeing a whole lot of pricing declines, but there's definitely some more negotiations going on out there. And, yeah, I mean, listen, if rates go down to 6%, I think, this market heats up pretty darn quickly. I think the demand is there. And I think first-time home buyers and the younger generations that are trying to get into the housing market are probably at the biggest disadvantage right now. But I think if rates drop down a little bit, I think they're in a much better position.
Yeah, totally agree. And to your point about social, like, we do a lot. Google search has been kind of a foundation of lead generation for a long time. We still do a lot of that for loan officers and lenders. But if you think about where folks are spending time and interacting, a lot of it's starting to be out there with videos and short form videos. TikTok has introduced, I know it's scary for some of the, more seasoned people, like me with gray hair in the industry, but like, man, my 18-year-old daughter, she starts her search in TikTok for everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? So she's looking for apartments, college living, and she's searching in TikTok. And TikTok now, in fact, I met with some of the folks here in Austin this morning from TikTok, and they've released a really cool like search product, right? Where you can get, it's not Google search, it's TikTok search, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm searching for, and if you start to think about homes and the kind of the sexiness of a home and how it can fit into a TikTok environment and a Reels environment and stories environment, Instagram, right? We start to think about a whole different world. And even that's not even talking about the generative AI that we can start to get into through ChatGPT and others through that process. So really kind of interesting world versus the linear funnel that we had where people just do a Google search, end up at a portal because they dominate the top, handful of listings, and then just go through the process that way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole search concept is going to be totally disrupted by AI. I mean, some of the stats I'm already seeing are just insane of how many the algorithms of how many people are actually searching on Google versus even ChatGPT now. It's starting to actually surpass some of the Google metrics. It's kind of crazy to see how search is going to be changing. I mean, we're going to be talking here in a couple of years and probably saying, remember when we used to actually type in things to search into Google to find things, and then it would just be like hyperlinks to actually the website versus actually like, just surfacing the content you were looking for.
Yeah, totally. And the thing is, you don't show up in those generative AI windows. You don't show up unless you're doing all these things to get out there and get visible, right? So a lot of people don't think about that, right? It's organically being out there. It's paying even small amounts to be out there and get distribution. That's where folks are picking. That's where the generative AI picks up the signals to put you and insert you in as the local expert. It's how often are you out there? How visible are you out there?
Absolutely.
And then regardless of whether you do it through Meta's AI and Instagram or Facebook, whether you're doing it in TikTok's AI and TikTok search or ChatGPT or Google Gemini, it doesn't matter, right? All of those are picking up the same signals at the end of the day. So yeah, pretty important to be out there. Well, Dan, I don't know what you think, if there are any closing like thoughts that on this subject you want to leave the crew with, but like I felt pretty good. We wanted to keep this quick and short and to the point. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I think the era as the maybe market recovers a little from housing, and we've got this, it's kind of an exciting time with housing coming together, and yeah, there's gonna be some competition, maybe new angles and new ways of doing things, but for folks who are willing to adjust, willing to try new things, willing to adapt, feels like kind of a fun time that hopefully we're going into in the industry. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm getting. I don't know what you feel.
100%. I think we're seeing more lenders lean into understanding that, data has to be a first-class citizen at your company, and what are the channels that you need to communicate in with your customers. And if you're not communicating out in social, obviously right now you have a pretty big gap especially when you get into that younger generation, because that is where they are spending the vast majority of their time. So it's one of the reasons why I'm super passionate about our partnership together. Is we really have built together a turnkey solution to enable that for every originator out there, because we still know the average age of originator is floating around, 48 plus years old. And listen, not many are very, social experts out there. So
Yep.
if we can provide more turnkey solutions to enable those originators, it just has produced so much positive results for their business, that it's pretty exciting to see, the direction that, and the vision of your company at Evocalize, and playing in the digital ad landscape, and some of the exciting things you're doing with this co-marketing capability. I'm digging it.
Thanks, man. I'm digging the partnership, and I think as we think about it, it's how are you out there through your co-marketing, and how do we make the whole, I think the goal and what we're doing, and getting even better at through AI calling and some other things, is like, how do you set up the whole funnel so it just rocks and rolls, and you don't have to know how the sausage is being made. You press the button and it starts a sequence of events that go, like, keeps running month after month after month, and becomes your own personal lead generation portal. Like,
Yep.
you get a Redfin for your own market that you can throw in your pocket, and you don't even have to pay $2 billion for it, right? It's like, it just runs, and your lenders equipped you with the most modern tools to make that happen. And you get ROI out at the other end. I mean, that's the other beautiful thing with some of our partners together. We published some case studies. I think you have too, on one of our partners, certainly not the only one, but guaranteed rate, rate, and some of the ROI. You can quantify the incrementality of this stuff at a pretty high level, and all of a sudden it becomes a great answer to the consolidation that's happening out there, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you can't always show clear ROI with every marketing investment. Our partnership is a pretty clear bullseye for ROI, and it tells a pretty clear story. So it's great to see some of the large, medium, and even small lenders adopt this technology and see the success that we've had over the short period of time that we've had the partnership in place. So
100%.
Excited to take it to the sky, buddy.
Let's go, baby. All right, y'all, thanks for joining us. I'm really excited. Thank you to Dan Catinella and the Total Expert team for giving us some time with Dan. His time's hard to get, so thanks, Dan, for spending time with us. And yeah, I'm Matt, y'all. Check out Total Expert if you're not already on their platform, and check out Evocalize. If either of us can help, I'm sure we are happy to do so. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.